All right, it has been a while since I've done this, so you're going to have to excuse me if things don't go quite right. I am completely an amateur at this, okay? The live stream stuff is not something I normally do, but I'm going to see if anybody shows up on here. So far, hey, there's 3 people watching. And I think you guys can go ahead and comment. Let me know if you can hear the audio okay. Hey, there's some people. Skeeter, hello, sir. And Henry Sims, hi from Georgia. Have you ever thought about making a general patent belt and holsters? Oh my gosh. I have thought about making a lot of holsters, and there's a lot of them I still want to do. So it takes a while. I've only got the weekends, so that's all I get to do. Plus, I've got the whole, home stuff to do too, honeydew list, and all that good stuff. Is the audio okay? Good. Cap 533 said he hears me fine. Angel, how you doing? This is, if you guys have seen my first live stream, it was also an impromptu live stream. I just thought, you know what, let's give it a try and see how it's going. Garage Guy 879, how you doing? And Sam Ostroff, good evening. Good evening to you too. Good evening to all of you. Again, this is no topic or anything, and there's probably going to be a little bit of a delay. I don't know. Like I said, this live streaming stuff to me is new. To my daughter, she's a pro at it, and she's live streaming now, so I'm on my own with this one. Let's see, we got 15 people in here watching right now. Now, if you read the description, there should be a description somewhere on this live stream. YouTube will not allow me to handle firearms, real or fake, no toys, nothing that resembles a firearm in a live stream, which kind of sucks when you're doing a firearms channel. But, it is what it is. I got plenty of holsters back there behind me. Let's see. T-Dog said, hey, Richard, would you like to do a review on a Ruger American 450 Go Wild? I have not done a review on a 450, and it is deer season here in Ohio. So a 450 Bushmaster, if that's what you're talking about, is one that is allowed here. So yeah, I would like to do one. I don't know when I'm going to be able to do one. Skeeters from Tampa, Florida, hunting and stuff with J&J. How you doing? It's good to see a pretty good turnout, especially with little to almost no notice. I did post a couple notices on my Facebook page, so you may have seen it. And again, that was no warning either. Big FNAF fan, sounds good and clear from West Virginia, not too far away from me. Garage Guy said, I'm working on a video about the Charter Arms Pathfinder Ultralight in 22 LR Pink Lady version for my granddaughter. I need to pick, there's so many guns I want to pick up, and I really like doing I believe that is a revolver, isn't it, Garage Guy? I really like revolvers, and there's a lot of them I want to get. There's a lot of them I've got that I still need to do videos on and haven't got to yet. I've got a little stockpile of some of the Old West cowboy guns. I really like those because they're made out of metal and wood and no plastic on them. At least there shouldn't be any plastic on them. Let's see. iPod Walker, hey, how you doing? 9422, evening boss. Looking dapper as always. I like the Old West looking stuff there. And the derby hat is going to be for hopefully an upcoming video. If any of you have ever seen the TV show Bat Masterson, not the original Bat Masterson, but the TV show back in the 50s, early 60s, he wore a derby and carried a cane. And I've got the top of the cane over there. I need to just make the wooden part of the cane. And of course, I need to do his holster too, but his is really a simple, plain cross draw black holster, nothing fancy, and he even wears it on his belt that holds his pants up, so that's pretty cool. Yes, it's a revolver. This one seems to have a nice trigger and hammer action. I don't know, I have not gotten my hands on one yet, but I hope to, because they're not terribly expensive either. T-Dog, I got one, went to school with Dalton. He told me about your channel. If you'd like, I'd get a hold of him and you can use mine. Hey, that would be fantastic, T-Dog. I will let Dalton know. The SC Smith 9157, good to see you doing live streams. I don't do many live streams. In fact, this is my second one. I did do one with Santee a couple of years ago too. I was a guest on his live stream, and that was a lot of fun. iPod Walker, Gene Barry. Yep, Gene Barry played Bat Masterson in the TV show, and he dressed, all fancy and everything. So I like doing that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of fun to me to do that. Whether it adds any value to the video, I don't know, but it's just a lot of fun. You seen the Paladin holster I got up there? That was a fun one to do too. I do not like the way the curve of the belt came out. That's the first time I ever laced bullet loops on a belt. Most of the time I sew them on. All the other ones behind me there are sewn on, and it's a lot of work. It's really tough on the fingers, but none of those are stretched out like the Paladin holster is up there. Holster question: what is the most difficult holster you have ever made? Let me see. Right behind me here, this one right here is actually a pattern from Will Gormley, the guy who made the one for 310 to Yuma. That one's probably, it's not that any of them are really difficult, but I tried to keep as true to the original pattern as I could. So that required certain tools and hand tooling. Most of my holsters don't have a whole lot of tooling on them other than maybe individual stamps and stuff, but they're all, I guess they've got their own challenges. I did make one for the Dirty Harry holster for his Smith & Wesson Model 29, and I made it 2 times so far, and it didn't come out right. So that one's been pretty tough. I have not done a video on it. At least I have not done a complete video on it because it just didn't come out right. I was hoping to film it and everything would be good at the end and I would be all done with it, but I'm going to have to try that one a couple more times. That one has metal sewn into it so that it actually squeezes onto the revolver and holds it up against his chest. The rest of them, all the ones that I've got suede sewn on the back of are all pretty difficult just because it's a lot of sewing. It's not like it's back-breaking work or anything, but that's probably the most difficult thing is all the stitching on it because I do it all by hand. All right, let me catch up here. Garage Guy said, what's a good holster for the Taurus 856? The 856. I don't know. I very seldom buy any holsters. When I do, I buy the Kydex type. I did buy one leather one, but it was a hybrid holster for my I think it was the SIG P365 XL. It's leather on the outside and Kydex on the inside, hybrid holster. That was a good one for that gun. But as far as the 856, my revolver holsters, I've made all of them. The one right behind me here is for the Taurus 942, and that's a big one. That's got like a 8 3/8 inch barrel, I think, on it. So I make my revolver holsters. I have not bought a revolver holster, so I really couldn't tell you, Garage Guy. All these holsters here are for revolvers, and then you may have seen the video where I did the Taurus 942. It's a small frame revolver, and I made that holster too. Again, it's wet molded on there and stuff, and it fits the 605, the 942, the 2-inch barrel on it. So, do I conceal carry? Maybe, maybe not. I think it's a good idea to conceal carry. So if you want to conceal carry, depending on the states you live in, I see both good and bad with it. It's good to conceal carry if you're legally allowed to, whether it's concealed carry by permit or constitutional carry. I think that everybody should have some kind of training with firearms before they decide to carry, because you've seen videos online of people having accidents. I seen one where a guy was standing in the lobby of a fast food restaurant, reached in his pocket and actually shot the gun into the floor. It kind of played it off like he didn't know what it was, but stuff like that can happen. So get some training with your firearm if you are going to conceal carry, because it is an excellent idea to do that. You never know when you're going to need one. The 943 is 22 LR. 943. We got a 942. 943, is that like is that more than an 8-shot or less than an 8-shot? I'm not sure about the 943. I don't know if you 942. Yes, the 942 is definitely it's available in 22 LR or 22 Magnum, and the 605 is the exact same gun. It's a 5-shot 38 or 357. It is chambered in 357. So let's see, and you mentioned earlier the where is it? The 856. The 856 is a 38 special, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it? I believe it is. Well, 38 special only, which also the same, it should, depending on your barrel length, should fit the same holster. Been using a Wally World nylon holster for the 856. I have one of those, and I've used it many times just to carry a gun out to the range and have a place to holster it. They fit so many different size firearms, and they're convenient. Not that they're good, but they're convenient. I don't know that I would EDC with one of the Wally World nylon holsters, but they do what they're supposed to do. Okay, there's a typo. I'll excuse you. Did they make belt holsters for flintlock pistols back in the day? I seen someone on one of the Facebook groups I'm on posted a picture of a belt holster for a flintlock. Whether they did that or not, I don't know. And if you'll notice, most of the holsters I make, with the exception of the fringed one right there, most of them I try to do movie holsters because I've got some reference of the holster by watching the movies or seeing stills online or something like that. The historically correct ones, and the fringed one I posted on a Frontier group on Facebook, and I was quickly told that it was not historically correct. It didn't matter to me. I just wanted to make a holster that I thought was pretty cool, and it had that look. I made the jacket, so I wanted to make a holster to go with it, and I still have to make moccasins for it, but haven't got that far yet. So a belt pistol for a flintlock would be a pretty interesting, and I've got a flintlock pistol, and it's a pretty good size one too. It's only a single shot, but I don't know. I know a lot of times they just tuck them in their belt rather than having a holster made for it. You don't see any shoulder holsters up there. You are correct. It kind of just the way I've displayed them. I've got another blank wall over here that still needs some things put up on it. So I do have the shoulder holster I made to go with the, you'll see the one right here and right there. That is the double holster for Clint Eastwood in, what's that movie? I got a bunch of them running through my head right now. The Outlaw Josie Wales. He wore a shoulder holster. He carried the two 1847 Colt Walkers, and he carried a, I think 1849 tucked in his belt. He carried 4 guns in the movie, and maybe it was the 1849. It was in the shoulder holster. I will get it put up here on the wall at some point. I hope, anyways. I'm probably quickly going to run out of wall space though. Let's see. Tyler Jones, you visited ranges all over this country. Do you have any unique experiences, stories, good or bad? Most of the time when I go to a range, I like to go when they're not busy whatsoever because I like to film some of the stuff I'm doing. So probably one of my favorite ranges I've been to was in Tennessee, and I cannot recall the name of the town, but it was way out in the middle of nowhere pretty much, and it was a really good experience there. There was a few times I went there where they had some special events going on there, some charity events, because they did a lot of skeet trap and what's the other one, because I'm not a shotgun guy, sporting clays. they did a lot of those events out there. And I went out there one time and there were people parked for probably a mile down the road going to this event. So I just turned around and left. I have not experienced any, I have not had any really bad experiences or seen anything really bad happen at ranges. But nah, nothing extraordinary or anything like that. Just day at the range. And that was probably my favorite public range I've been to. That's why I like being on my own personal one, because if anything happens, it's me that did it. Let's see. Garage Guy said a year or so ago you made a video on a portable shooting bench. You still have it? How's it holding up? Yes, I do still have it. It is the Caldwell stable table. And I keep it inside my saloon when I'm not shooting. I take and set it outside there. And I want to do a couple more videos, because usually with that one, I'll take it down to my 200-yard mark and shoot from there. It's really a pretty solid rest. It is on 3 legs, so you've got to watch the way you set it up. It is possible for you to set it up and tip over in it, just because of it being a tripod style. It's a stable table, so it is pretty stable, but you got to be careful the way you set it up. And you can pivot the table and the seat, and you can move the seat and you can move the table and everything. So you want to just be cautious of how you set it up. And it is possible to set it up on uneven ground, because one of those 3 legs will adjust for height, as long as it's not too extreme. And I may, when I do another long range video, I may set it up there and show it a little bit more. Oh my gosh. The Lone Ranger holster would be interesting. You got some silver on hand. Wow. I just seen a picture recently of that holster, and that one's got some serious bling on it. But one with even more bling on it is, if you ever seen the movie Cat Ballou, Lee Marvin played 2 characters in the movie. He played Strawn and he played Kid Shalene. And Kid Shalene is really blinged out in this. Everything, the vest, the holsters, the guns, the whole 9 yards. And I've been wanting to do that one, and I've been gathering parts to do it. There's a whole lot of rhinestones involved in that one. I don't know when I'll get to it, but it's over the top bling, but it's a movie. And that's what I like about some of the movie holsters, is they're just, some of them can be outrageous, some of them can be really detailed. And especially like in 310 to Yuma, that holster was almost its own character in the movie. And it's a really recognizable one. I see a lot of people put pictures of that holster on Facebook groups and stuff, and you can instantly recognize what it is just because of the pattern that's in it. Another one I want to do is also in 310 to Yuma, Ben Foster played, I can never remember the character's name, but the character he played carried 2 Schofields, and his holster was called the Flames of Hell. Will Gormley names his holsters, the Hand of God, Flames of Hell. He also did the Ringo one from Tombstone. And these are all holsters I want to make. Hopefully I'll live long enough to get them all done, because that's a lot of holsters. And yeah, there's a lot of cool ones I want to do. Let me see. Civil War reenacting. I personally have never done any Civil War reacting. I've only been to a couple events where it's gone on. It is interesting, and you'll see I did a video not too long ago on one of the Confederate rifles, the Cooks and Brother, and I was wearing a Confederate Civil War uniform. And I also have right up here, I get these confused. Right up here is the Union hat. So I've got 1862 Springfield I'll be doing a video on soon, I hope. Hopefully before it gets really cold this time. And I do have the whole Union uniform to go with it. And that was sent to me by, let me see. Remembering all this stuff is a company in, I can't even remember it. CNC Sutlery. Let me see. CNC. Let me see where they're out of Idaho, and the uniforms that they sent me they didn't send them to me for free. I did buy them. They did cut me a little bit of a discount. I did buy some things from them at regular price, But if you want to get into Civil War reenacting, you can get a hold of them because they sell uniforms that can get you into it and see if you actually want to do it. And they are approved for what they call it, the NSSA, the North South Skirmish Association, without breaking the bank. I've gone to a couple of the trade fairs and stuff, and a couple shows where they have some of this Civil War clothing for sale, and people are hand making it just like they did in the old days. And I tell you what, you can buy a shirt for 75, 80 bucks, and it's a simple shirt, but it's made properly. And then when you go get into the coats and the pants and the leather work and everything that goes with all that stuff, you can spend a fortune on it. And CNC Celery can get you into it without having to spend your, a couple months paychecks to do it. So, I mean, if you want to do Civil War reenacting, go for it. I never have time to do it, it seems. I also do the cowboy action shooting, but the same thing. They usually do it once a month, and it's on a Saturday where I live, and it's just, I got the weekends off to do things around the house and stuff and try to do videos and other things. And it gets to be a lot of work. So I haven't done any Civil War reacting, but I'm not against it at all. It's a lot of fun. I also will be doing a Napoleon cannon, and I wish it was a full-size cannon, but it's one of the smaller ones, not the smallest one, but one of the bigger, small Napoleon cannons. And I hope that'll be a lot of fun. Let's see. Hey, y'all, didn't see you went live till now. Aaron, I didn't tell anybody until the time I went live. That's why it's an impromptu one. And I was hoping that, 10,000 people wouldn't show up and all ask me a question at the same time. Because if you noticed on my channel, I reply to every comment, at least I have in the last few years. And I find it really hard to answer every comment if a whole lot of people showed up all at once. Let's see, the Doc Holliday holster would be the bee's knees. Yes, it would. And I've got a little, I don't know, a little upset with a company that makes, they sell guns and they sell holsters to go with the guns. And the Doc Holliday one is kind of I don't know, it just rubs me the wrong way, because most of the time when you see this gun advertised and you see the holster that goes with it and it's labeled as the Doc Holliday holster, it is the bird's head grip revolver, and it's in the shoulder holster. If you watch the movie Tombstone, he never carried the bird's head grip revolver, which was a Colt 1877 and one of Colt's, I think it was Colt's very first double action revolver. He never carried it in the shoulder holster. He carried it in either a vest pocket or tucked in his waist, his pants, in his regular belt or something. But he never carried the bird's head grip in the shoulder holster. He did carry a single action Army with the plow handle grip in there. He also carried one when he did his final battle with that other guy. Michael Bain is the one that played the character. You guys probably know it better than I do. But anyways, he did carry a different holster with a single action Army in it. And that is a cool holster. And I recently watched a video online where there's another channel that it's Road Agent Leather. He makes one and did a fantastic job. I watch a lot of his videos. I watch a lot of other people's videos, a lot of other videos. I don't even watch TV anymore. It's just YouTube, because I can find what it is I'm looking for. And there's a good chance that somebody out there has information on it and is presenting their take on it. Not necessarily that they're a professional. Some of these leather channels I watch, they are professionals, way farther advanced than I am. Some of them have been doing it for a long time. I've only been doing it for less time than I've been doing this channel, which has only been a few years. Ringo, yes, Ringo, that's the name I was trying to think of. He wears a different holster when he goes to fight Ringo. And that is a cool holster. Let's see, Johnny Ringo, yep. My best friend growing up, father did Civil War reenactment, had a 5-pound reproduction gun. Great fun tagging on. I'll bet 5-pounder. That takes a good chunk of powder to light that thing off and makes one heck of a boom, I guarantee you. Even some of the smaller 69 caliber, 58 caliber black powder firearms I got make a lot of noise. Even my little 32 Crockett rifle makes a whole lot of noise. It's a lot of fun. Black powder it's a whole lot more work than any other modern firearm. Modern firearm, take a cartridge, stick it in there, pow. Black powder, you have to, clean it. You have to load the powder. You have to load the bullet, or maybe a wad or a patch or something. Then you have to put the cap on it, and you have to fire it, and you have to clean them and everything. The whole process is so much more work, but the whole process is so much more fun once you accept that that's what you've got to do with it. A lot of smoke. A lot of times you'll fire and can't see your target until the wind blows the smoke away. But they are a lot of fun. A lot more components, a lot less convenience, but a lot of fun. 5-pound cannon. That would be a lot of fun. I've only been to a couple events where they actually fired the big cannons, and most of the time when they're firing the big cannons at reenactments and stuff, they are no projectile in it, and just some kind of wadding to put a little bit of back pressure on the powder, and they don't load them with the full charge that they would have during battle. And some of those cannons back in the day during the Civil War and stuff, I was just looking through a book the other day showing a bunch of photos from the Civil War. And yes, there were cameras around back then, but it probably took 30-40 seconds to take a shot, a camera shot, a picture. But I've seen some of the cannons that the end of the barrel was exploded on it. I've seen pictures of cannons ruptured, midway in the barrel. So they put a lot of powder in those things, and probably sometimes a little bit too much, but really, really cool firearms, cannons. Let's see. Glad to see your channel has grown so much in the last year. Did SIG sharing your... Yes, that made a tremendous amount, because I look at my analytics quite often on YouTube, and for some reason one day I just seen the views had gone up. It was this crazy spike in it, and I had no idea why it spiked like that. And then someone sent me a message and said, hey, SIG just posted your video on their Facebook page. So I went there and looked at it. I'm like, wow, that was really cool of them to do that. And there's a huge spike on that day, and it really made me feel pretty good when the manufacturer says, hey, look at this guy's video. I hope they watched the whole thing before they did that. I do make mistakes in them sometimes. Let's see. If you could only pick one reproduction black powder revolver used in military, which would it be? The 1851, maybe. Sam Colt said the 1860 was, what he was going for when he was making those revolvers. I just like the 1851 so much better. Maybe because it's only 36 caliber as opposed to 44. I don't know. It's just, I think I've got like 3 or 4 of them, and the 1851 is my favorite. And it didn't take me long to think about that either. I do like, I haven't even fired my walkers yet, so I couldn't tell you how they shoot or anything. But I fired my 1860, my 1862. I fired a few of them. It's just the 1851 for some reason I really like. Let's see, Sam, black powder cleaning is lots of work, but if you like black powder, you really enjoy cleaning. You know what? I don't mind it a bit. It's a whole lot easier with the modern stuff. And most of the time when I'm done doing a video, I bring the gun right back in here and I sit down and I clean it and I put it away. I definitely do that with the black powder stuff, because the powder can be corrosive. And I've heard different stories. I've heard people say that if you leave the black powder residue in there, it attracts moisture, and that's what causes the rusting. And I've also heard, on a metallurgical standpoint, is that the sulfur, when it burns, starts attacking the metal, so you need to clean it out immediately. So regardless of what causes it, I clean them out as soon as I'm done shooting. I don't let them sit around. I don't wait till the next morning or anything. I do them. With the modern stuff, I have put a few of them away that have not been cleaned. It's very rare, but I have done it before. Also did a lot of Mountain Man Rendezvous, my favorite, honestly. Yeah, those are pretty cool. I just went to one in Lodi, Ohio. It was they call it a trade fair, but it's kind of a rendezvous thing there, and a lot of your vendors there are all dressed up in the the Mountain Man gear and stuff, and it's pretty cool. I went there dressed as a normal guy, I guess, but it was a lot of fun, and I got to see a lot of things and learn a few things. I learned a little bit more about beading and quilling. And I probably will not try quilling. That's where they take actual porcupine quills and do some decorative work on some of the stuff. Double shot will weaken or split a barrel. It will. It will. There's a lot of things you can do to damage barrels. And I even did a video. I bought a couple Marlin Model 60s, and there was a squib load in there, which a double shot can create more back pressure, and a squib load will definitely create more back pressure. It did not rupture the barrel, but it damaged it. The watchmaker, hey, how you doing? You know what? I got a whole bunch of watches over here in a drawer I really need to work on. We never did light off full charge in the 5-pound cannon. Yeah, I'll bet. Not publicly, because like I said, that is a tremendous boom. Probably worse than tannerite. And I've set off some pretty big tannerite charges out here before. One for my granddaughter's gender reveal. And just some of it just playing around, and some of it for a video. It's a lot of fun. Thank you, watchmaker. I'm glad you like it. It's a lot of fun doing it, but man, sometimes it can be a lot of work too. But it's still fun no matter what. Anytime I got an excuse to pick up a firearm and take it out of the range and shoot it, or talk about them, or an excuse to make a holster or something, I'm cool with it. Let me see. What else can we talk about here? Like I said, the Bat Masterson one I want to do soon. And I just recently picked up I'm going to say it's the Bat Masterson gun. It is a Pieta reproduction of 1873 with it's a 4.5-inch barrel. And there's another thing that I've noticed online. When I'm doing this research, I'm looking for pictures. I'm looking, type in Bat Masterson, and a lot of things show up. And you do Bat Masterson, Gene Barry, the TV show, and everything. And then you see people that make holsters for it, and it's not quite correct. Not that I make everything perfect. I don't. I screwed up on the Paladin one a little bit, but I think it's pretty close. And I've seen, I think it's Pieta that actually sold a Bat Masterson revolver. They actually labeled it as the Bat Masterson with like a 3.5-inch barrel on it. And I have looked at a lot of the screenshots, a lot of pictures with Gene Barry holding the revolver. It is not a 3.5-inch barrel. It is a 4.5. You can just tell there's so much difference in the size of them, regardless of the angle he's holding on. There's a couple shots where he is holding it perfectly to the side, and you can tell it is a 4.5-inch barrel, not a 3.5. So, and I've seen some also that were heavily engraved. Now, the real Bat Masterson, the one that was actually, the sheriff, I think he was, and a sports writer, and a gambler, he did have a revolver. And I do know that the back strap on it was engraved with his name on it, said Bat Masterson on it, because I've seen pictures of it. I've also seen pictures people have sent me pictures of shots of a firearm in a museum, and it says this is the Paladin holster, the one that Richard Boone carried in the movie. And you look at it, and it's obviously not. One of them I seen that someone sent me a picture of, it actually looks like it's kind of cut away even more than this is a cutaway style holster up here, meaning that it doesn't come up real far on the gun. It allows for an easier draw. But the one that they sent me that is in a museum, and I think it's in the Cody Museum in Wyoming, was cut even farther down. And I thought, it doesn't look anything like the Paladin holster. And if you've ever watched any of the episodes of Have Gun Will Travel, you get to see the holster in every episode up close and personal, because it's the opening scene where he pulls it out, points it directly at the camera, and then decocks it. In one episode, he does explain that it has a 1-ounce trigger, which is, I think he meant to say 1 pound. That 1-ounce trigger is crazy. I've shot 3-ounce triggers that are scary in rifles, and they're absolutely amazing for accuracy. But I would not own a pistol that had a 1-ounce triggers. No way. It's just, that's crazy. Let's see. What do you think about the other day? Take care, man. I'm not sure what you're referring to. I might have to refresh my memory. 1897 shotgun. I do not have an 1897 shotgun. I've only got a couple shotguns. I'm not a big shotgun guy. I do like them. I have the Stoeger coach gun, and I have a couple Mossberg 500s. I have some available to me to do some videos on the AR style shotguns, which they're cool. I don't have any problems with them. I just not that great with them. I mean, shooting a pumpkin with a double barrel Stoeger was pretty easy. It wasn't very far away, but I've tried shooting clay pigeons before, and maybe it's because I haven't done it that much. I am not that good at it. More pigeons get away than they get injured. But I was officially trained in law enforcement with a shotgun. So, the static targets we had to shoot at, I had absolutely no issue with that. That little tiny clay bird flying through the air, that's a whole other story right there. You look at a 1 ounce trigger cross-eyed, it will go off. I believe that. I went to a gun store in Tennessee one time, and I was talking to the salesman there. We were talking about guns, obviously, in the gun store. And we were talking about trigger weights and everything. And when I said I shot one, or I held one, I guess, that had an extremely light trigger, he handed me, and I want to say it was a Browning. I don't remember the exact model or anything. But he took it off the shelf, and he opened it up, and he put one of the little plastic, it was a 22, one of the little plastic dummy rounds in it, and he cocked it, and he handed it to me. And as I grabbed it from him and went to put it to my shoulder, it went click, and I thought, I don't remember touching the trigger. It was that light. And he just kind of smiled and shook his head at me. He said, "That's not something you want to carry through the woods, is it?" And I said, "No, it's probably not even something I want to shoot the bench, really." I mean, it was crazy how light it is. And I didn't put my finger in the trigger guard or anything. I may have touched the side of the trigger ever so slightly, and it went click. I don't even remember feeling the trigger, but that was crazy light. I like a light trigger. I like the Savage Accu triggers, and Mossberg has the lightning bolt trigger and stuff like that. I like the ones you can lighten up, but even those, I don't necessarily lighten to their lightest setting. Usually when you get one out of the box, wherever it's set is pretty good. I have lightened up a couple of them just because they come with a little tool, and you can reach in there and twist it and lighten it or increase the pressure. And they do pretty good. You don't have to worry about putting a lot of side force. And that's the thing with a light trigger is people will, and I'm guilty of it myself, people will pull or push, put their finger in too far, maybe pull back towards them or something. It's difficult sometimes to pull straight back without any side force on it. And you'd be amazed at how much force it takes, or how little force it takes, to throw the front of that barrel off. I did do a video where I put a dial indicator on the end of the barrel, and then I set up the camera to look through the scope, and I adjusted my the Caldwell Hydro Sled I got. I adjusted it. I moved the end of the barrel over 0.010 of an inch, and when you looked at the image through the scope, it was like 3 inches off at 100 yards. So just, you can see when you get a really good high-powered scope and you hold it up against your shoulder and everything, and you look at the target, you can see your heartbeat in that scope. You'll see that reticle move with your heartbeat. So a lot of like Olympic shooters and stuff will time it between their heartbeats to actually take their shot. I am not that level of shooter. I can hit pretty small targets at fairly long distances, but those guys are crazy. When you time your shot between your heartbeats, that's pretty amazing, I think. Let's see here. I appreciate your channel. I've got inspiration to soup up my Heritage Rough Rider with a gold hammer, trigger, and cylinder. Looks fantastic. I'll try to send a picture. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for watching. And you know what? I have heard a lot of people really diss on Heritage firearms. And if you've seen the video I did, yes, the title is somewhat deceptive, but in the description I put on there that it's a parody sort of, it's a humorous video, because obviously I have nothing against Heritage firearms. I pulled out a bunch of them, and since that video I've actually bought a couple more. They are really fun. They are really inexpensive. They are really easy to maintain, and I just like them. The Ruger Wrangler, I did a video where I compared the Heritage Rough Rider with the Ruger Wrangler. Me and my twin brother, he's the fat one. But they're both good guns. The Heritage offers a lot more variations, a lot more styles, models, and all that kind of stuff than the Ruger does. And the one thing I really like about the Heritage as opposed to the Wrangler is you can put 22 Magnums in the Heritage. Ruger could have and should have done that, but from what it was explained to me was that the frame and everything on the Ruger will not withstand the 22 Magnum rounds. The cylinder probably would, but you can't chamber a 22 Magnum in a 22 LR cylinder because of the difference in the case size. The bullets are the same. The case size is different. And the Ruger Wrangler just will not withstand the pressures of a 22 Magnum on the frame itself. The aluminum alloy it's made out of is just not strong enough to do it. And I think they made a mistake when they did that, because it would have opened up a whole lot more opportunities and probably opened up a bigger market for them, because 22 Magnum is more expensive. Yes. It's a little more fun. It really is. So I think they should have made it accept 22 Magnums also. A crisp trigger is far more valuable than a light trigger. Yes, I've shot some guns with some really spongy triggers, and it makes you wonder, when's it going to go off? And it's just the trigger flexing and then finally pop. And I like it. Like I say, it should surprise you, and sometimes it really does. I've been surprised. You've seen me flinch in a bunch of my videos because they surprise me. Usually it's only the first shot. Usually it's only the first shot that does it. Is my twin identical? My twin is me. Just a little camera tricks. I like doing that kind of stuff too. And I've done a couple videos like that. My very first black powder firearm ever was the Pennsylvania rifle, and the intro to that I did as, playing two parts with my identical twin. And that also was a lot of fun. There's little mistakes in it and stuff, but I always tell people that my twin is the fat one. It's not me. It's the fat one. It's a lot of fun doing this stuff, and I like to be a little creative when I do some of it. Sometimes I just go out there and just present you with, this is a firearm, and this is how it shoots. This is how it comes apart. This is how you should clean it, or this is how you take it apart to clean it. You can clean it the way you want. I clean them the way I want. Maybe it's right. Maybe it's not. Sometimes I show it. Sometimes I don't. My preferred cleaning solution so far has been ram oil. Unless it's black powder revolver, then it goes up to the kitchen sink with a little bit of Dawn and a toothbrush and gets the scrubbing, and then gets immediately dried and then oiled and then put away. Black powder is a whole different story. It is a lot of fun though. Yeah, I really like black powder stuff. It's just, if you haven't shot one, find someone that a friend or somebody that has one that will take you out and show you how it's done and everything, and you decide whether or not it's fun or not. Some people like sauerkraut, some people don't. I don't. But you know what? Some people like black powder stuff, some people don't. I do. More work, still more fun though. All right, what else? Someone hit me with another question. I'll try to answer it as quickly as possible. Take a little sip here. You go west, you got to drink whiskey, right? I hope soon. I've been wanting to get my hands on. There's a couple guns I really don't want to get my hands on. One of them is the rifle from Down Under, they call it. If you've seen the movie Quigley Down Under with Tom Selleck, he shoots it's an 1874 Sharps 34-inch barrel. He shoots it in a 45 110. You can get it from Sharps, identical to Tom Selleck's gun used in the movie, with the exception that you cannot get the initials MQ engraved on it. Maybe if your name, is, I don't know, Michael Quorum or whatever, maybe you could do it. I don't know. You might have to show them some ID before they would do it. But they just said that I could get it exactly like that, except for the initials MQ on it, which I'm okay with. it would be cool, but I'm sure that they're going to say, you know, people will try to pawn it off as the original one from the movie, and obviously it wouldn't be. But that rifle I want to get, and I will probably get it in 4570 just because I have looked around in the past for 45 110 ammo. It's like $5 a shot. It's really expensive. So that's when you're definitely going to want to reload if you have one of those rifles. I've also found it in 45 120, which is a lot bigger round. And the 120, 110, and 70, they all refer to the grains of black powder that the case will hold. And 4570 is a really popular round. So I'll probably get it chambered in that. I probably won't shoot much over 200 yards with it. I would like to go out to, I think it's Colorado, Wyoming, one of them states out west where they have a Quigley shoot, they call it. And it's a competition where you shoot targets and everybody's shooting a similar rifle. And usually, I mean, it's the Quigley shoot. So they want to get people out there with the old Sharps rifles. I have seen some other ones out there. They even have a kid's version of it, smaller rifles. I really want to get one of those. And I really want to get one of the Rossi Ranch hands or mare's leg type guns. Henry makes one. I really don't want to get that one so much just because it's a Henry. It's a good rifle. Nothing wrong with a Henry. They're great rifles. But when you get something like that, I like to get something that represents the Old West guns. And I think the Rossi Ranch Hand, and there's a couple other companies that make some. I think it's I don't know if Cimarron makes one or not, but the shorter sawed-off 92 action is what it's modeled after. I want to get one of those because I want to do that holster too. Quigley was epic. Awesome movie. Loved it. Seen it many, many times. Thank you, 9422. I enjoyed you being on the live stream. So you're dropping my side of the conversation, working on my Diamondback Sidekick cylinder. If I had an adjustable rear sight that I could see better, it would be my favorite. I have the Sidekick. When I saw that they first come out, I tried to get my hands on one, and then I went to a gun store out of my home state, and he had one there. And you can buy firearms out of state. Most states, depending on what the state is, if it's one of those communist states, you cannot buy any firearm there, whatever. But most American states you can go to and you can buy a long gun or a shotgun. You can buy a handgun. You just can't take it with you right then. It has to be shipped back to your home state, to your FFL. So I was in another state, and I was talking to the guy, and I asked him about the Sidekick, and he had one there, and he took it out and he showed it to me and everything, and he showed how you swap the cylinders out and everything. And I liked it. I liked the idea of it. And it is actually modeled after another older gun that is the same thing. It looks like a single action Army, but it's double action or single action, either way. Changing the cylinders out. He said the first time he did it, he sent I think it's a screw or a pin or something, sent it flying across the room, said it took him a little while to find it, but he got it, put it back in there. And then he showed it to me the second time he showed it to me without losing that pin or spring or screw or whatever it was. And I just, for the price, if I was only going to buy one for myself, it would be great to go out. Yeah, I'm going to get that. I'm going to buy it. For me, it's a little harder for me to buy a gun sometimes, especially if it's not one that I specifically want. Because a lot of times I take these guns, I buy them, I take them out, I shoot them, I film a video on it, and it goes in the safe, and that's where it sits. I have my EDC, I have my ones tucked around the house for different purposes. I live on a farm out here. You've seen the range and stuff. You hear bumps in the night out here, coyotes, raccoons, venomous ducks, whatever. When you hear something out there, sometimes you need to grab it and run out there because I don't want my livestock to fall victim to any of these critters. And I keep them locked up, but they can do damage and they can, harm your wildlife or your livestock. So I have certain guns, and those get used regularly, or at least brought out regularly, because if I do hear something, I want to run out there and see what it is. So sometimes it's hard for me to buy a gun just to do a video on it. I like when people loan them to me, and I take good care of them. I use my own ammo. I clean them up. I give them back to them in perfect condition. Probably better than when they gave it to me. And I have been given some that were extremely dirty, and they said, "Why don't you clean that for me while you're at it?" Absolutely, I will clean. It's the least I can do. And I have had manufacturers loan me firearms. Savage has loaned me one. Cimarron has loaned me one. Why do I think there's another one? There is another one. I just don't remember what it was. I have to find that because I either have to send it back to them or I have to pay for it, one of the two. And I like when they do that because it's still my own honest opinion. And if I don't like it, and I say in the video I don't like it, that's my opinion on it. And I have said I don't like guns. That little Phoenix Arms HB22A I have got probably more feedback in the comments section on that gun than any other video on my channel. And I just titled it my least favorite gun. And I didn't say, if you watch the whole video, when I get to the end of it, I say it's a good shooting gun. I just don't like the multiple safeties on it. And a lot of people tell me, well, all you got to do is disable those safeties on it. It's a fine gun. Yes, it probably would be. But YouTube definitely does not like us showing modifications to firearms. They are completely against that. So, and there's a liability too. If I told you all you got to do is cut this, grind that, and whatever, and it's a great gun, and you go out and hurt yourself with it, and then someone says, he told me to cut this off of there and grind that down and all this kind of stuff, and that's why I injured myself or injured somebody else, then I'm held liable for it. So I try to show everything used as it's supposed to be used properly without modifications to it. I've shown changing grips on a gun. I changed the Heritage Barkeep. I changed the grip on it, the grip frame and the grips, which is not unsafe. But YouTube doesn't like it. They don't like. I did my Cimarron 1911. I changed the rosewood grips to some spalted maple grips that I made. That video demonetized, doesn't get promoted at all, and it's just flat wood panels on the side of it, and YouTube hates it. They also said I fired the Chris Vector 22 in full auto mode, and it's not a full auto gun. I was, pretty pumped up that they thought I could shoot as fast as a full auto anything, but I did not. But refused to monetize it and threatened to pull it and everything. But I mean, and there's no appealing it. Once they've made their decision, that's it. You're stuck with it. Occasionally, you can get one, not get one by them, but get them to understand something. It is extremely difficult, though. Let's see. Have I tried any of the Tisas 1911s yet? No, I have not. I have looked at them. And there's a small chain of firearm stores or sporting goods stores here in Ohio. And I've gone in there and I've looked at them a bunch of times, and I thought they don't look half bad, and they're not outrageously priced. So yeah, it's I may do them pretty soon, I guess. I don't know about pretty soon, but I would definitely like to do them because they do look like they're well-made firearms. If you'll notice, there's a lot of firearms that are not made in this country anymore. All your Glocks, of course. I mean, they may have plants here. Some of them may have plants here. Even Heritage and Taurus and stuff, they have firearms manufacturing plants here in the United States, but they are still a foreign company. They still make good items. SIG is. There's a lot of guns out there that are really great items. Recently, I did a gun. Let me see if I can find it over here. It was another one that I was really surprised by. It wasn't the Bursa. Of course, the Bursa TPR 9C was a... I've got the Bursa Thunder 380. That's my wife's gun. And I don't like that one. It shoots great, real similar to a Walther PPK, the look of it anyways. But it's a direct blowback 380, and you really feel that hit in the palm of your hand there. So I I wasn't too thrilled about it. But when I seen the Bursa, the other one, the 9mm, I thought, let me give this thing a try, because as far as I work with a guy that is left-handed, and we were talking about different firearms, and I looked that one up and I thought, this does not look like a bad firearm. And I was really surprised with that one. Great shooting gun and everything. Not the Stoeger. It was, oh my gosh. It wasn't too long ago. At least it doesn't seem like it was too long ago, but I'm not seeing it on here. I've got another screen over here, and I'm looking through some of my videos to see which one it was, and I do not remember which one it was. It was not the Bursa. The Bursa is a good shooting gun. Oh, I cannot remember which one it was, and I don't see it on my list there, but it was not the Stoeger. The Stoeger was a good shooting gun too, and not terribly priced. I also wanted to look at the Mossberg. I think it's the MSC, little compact 9mm that they make, and that one is a little pricier than the Stoeger was. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that or not. The Bursa TPR 9C was a really good one. The Smith & Wesson CSX was one that really kind of surprised me, and I had almost got to the point where it's like, I don't want to do any more of these polymer 9mm. And then when I seen that Smith & Wesson CSX come out, I thought, alloy frame, semi-auto, American made, and I got to give this thing a try. The capacity might be a little light for some people, but really it's a good feeling gun and shoots pretty darn good too. Where is that other one? Oh, it doesn't matter. It was another one that I was really surprised with, and it was one that is fairly new in the United States, so I wasn't exactly sure about it. But once I got it and shot it and everything, it seemed to be a pretty good gun. Oh, let's see. I'm getting behind on my comments here. Tisas, yeah, boomstick. So far, pretty good. Did I miss something? Just rambling on. It's possible for me to miss stuff. I guess I wasn't getting too far behind on the comments. Go ahead and comment. I like the interaction thing here. I would really prefer to be talking face to face with all of you, but it's a little tougher to do, especially when I actually have people that watch me all over the world. Australia. I get a lot of Brazilian people that comment on here, and thank God for Google Translate, so I can actually reply to them. And a lot of the guns, the Taurus and stuff, are Brazilian company and everything, so it makes sense that I would get a lot of comments on those firearms. This is bugging me now. I cannot remember what that pistol was that I bought and really enjoyed. So it's not the Ruger Max 9 Pro, wasn't the Sig Sauer. I like a lot of the older guns, the older rifles and stuff too. Those things. It was the SAR B6C. That was one that I was kind of a little leery when I bought it, because I'm looking at the price of it, and it was not expensive, and I'd never heard of them before. But once I shot it, I was like, this is pretty dang good. And like I said, was not a terrible price. And it is a compact version. They do make a full-size version of it too. But yeah, that one surprised me. It really did. Oh, I have a love-hate relationship with Cimarron. You know what? I do too. Oh, this is a story about Cimarron. I bought a revolver, 1872 open top from them, and I had had this thing for months. And probably like a lot of people, when you buy something, you don't automatically go fill out the registration card for your warranty. I'm guilty of it, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that is guilty of it too. But when I bought this thing, I brought it home, and I thought it's going to be a little while before I'm ready to do a video for it. So it went in the safe. And then I was going to get ready to do a video, so I got it out of the safe. I opened it up. I took it out of the bag. I cleaned it all up and everything. And then I just got to looking at all the markings on it. And On the cylinder, it was chambered 45 LC. On the frame, it was chambered 45 LC. But on the barrel, it was chambered in, I want to say it was 4440, I think, or 44 Smith & Wesson. And I thought, you know, I know in some of the black powder revolvers, there's differences in caliber, not so much the bullet, but in the barrel where they measure it from, whether it's groove to groove or land to land. So if it's land to land, the diameter is a little bit smaller. If it's groove to groove, it's a little bit bigger. So some of the old black powder firearms you can get in a 45 Colt, and you can get a conversion cylinder. Let me correct that. You can get it in 44 caliber black powder, but you can get a conversion cylinder to allow you to fire 45 Colts in it. Because the Colt diameter, I think, is, if I'm not mistaken, is measured from groove to groove, where the 44 round ball is measured from land to land, the actual diameter of it. Not so much the caliber calling, but the actual diameter of it. So I got to thinking about this, and I thought, you know what? Maybe that's correct. Anyways, I contacted Cimarron and I said, I've got this gun, and it is, one part of it's chambered that says 45 Colt, the other part says 44 Smith & Wesson, 44 Schofield. I think it was Smith & Wesson and Schofield, or I'm not sure. But anyways, they were wrong. They both had the same serial number on it. The frame and the barrel had the same cylinder or the serial number on it. So I sent them pictures of it, and I called them, and they said, don't shoot it, send it back to us, and we will replace it. So a lot of paperwork had to be done and everything, and I got it swapped out, and they sent me the correct one with the correct markings on both the frame, the cylinder, and the barrel. So, and I still haven't shot the thing yet. And that's been 8-9 months ago, I guess. It's been a while, and still haven't got around to it yet. Speedy Ford, good evening. Chaz, Carson, Richard, I have a new idea to carry your X cylinder for Heritage Rough Rider. And the extra cylinder, usually when I carry one, I pick the caliber I'm going to use when I go out to the range, and I carry that one out there, and we'll usually leave the other one here at the house or in the safe or whatever. But go for it. Let's hear your idea. Maybe it could be a little bit like the I'm missing a holster from up there. I'm missing the one from Pale Rider, who carried an 1858 with 2 cylinder pouches on it. I did make that video, and there's my Pale Rider hat there, also made from a regular cattleman's. That was a lot of fun. But that could be done. You could make the cylinder pouches kind of like a speed loader pouch, sort of. And I need to make some of those because I've got several revolvers that I have speed loaders for. Love speed loaders, love revolvers. They're just a lot of fun. And really, if you ever watch Jerry Mitchell, like, there's a video of him setting the world record shooting. Now, he's not using speed loaders. He's using moon clips, which are a little bit different. Similar but different. The speed loader, you actually load the rounds in it, you put it in, you twist the lever, let the speed loader hit the ground, close the cylinder, and then you're ready to go. With the moon clips, they stay together, so when he ejects those rounds out, all 6 of them or 8 of them, he fires 2 different revolvers, they all fall out together, and he throws that moon clip in there with those rounds, and it goes right in those holes, closes it up, and takes his next shots. I think he does like 6 shots, unload or reload, and 6 more shots on target in, like, it's crazy, like 2.4 seconds or something. Unreal how fast he does it. But that's moon clips. Speed loaders, similar. You cannot get that kind of speed out of a speed loader. I mean, you can try, but they're still a lot of fun. Let's see. Try the cap pouch for your cap and ball pistol. Yeah, I could do that. There's actually, let's see, this right here is cap pouch. It's got wool in it though, and that's actually for the caps. That's to keep your caps from banging around in there and going off. But there's wool in there to keep everything from moving around. I have not even used that yet. That I did get from CNC Sutlery. I haven't used it. It's a little easier for me to find the caps when they're in the little tin and they're sitting on my on the bar out there at the saloon. Let's see, Speedy Ford. Have you ever taken a new knife and replaced the handle to make it more classic? I have not. The one that's up here in this holster is, I guess, not necessarily. I don't know if it's a stag grip on it with stacked leather on both sides of, by the pommel and the that other part. So I mean, it's kind of classic, I guess. Not really sure. I do frequent an antique store, and I've seen a lot of actual classic antique knives in there. Not that they're necessarily that old as far as like the frontiersmen would carry or stuff like that, but there are some of them in there that are authentic, and some of them are really expensive too. So now I haven't tried it, and really that's the only knife sheath I have made. And like I said, I just made it because I wanted to go with that holster and the jacket and everything. That's why it's got the fringe on it and everything. Not that it's practical, or I just thought it was fun to make. Because I hadn't done that kind of stuff before. The jacket, the shirt I made, everything with the tassels and the fringe on everything. It was a lot of fun. So I've actually done a couple holsters. I don't know if you can see the other one way up there. Both of those that one's tasseled and that one's fringed, and then of course that one's fringed, and then the knife there. I'm getting used to this kind of. The knife there's got the suede fringe on it and stuff. And I think I sewed suede all the way on the back of that belt there too. And that's not historically correct either. But if you're wearing not historically correct clothes, something with polyester or whatever, it's kind of slick. The suede actually helps it hold up, so your holster doesn't end up around your ankles, or your knees, or wherever your next catch point is. So I do like doing that. Let's see. Chaz Carson could send you one. You're talking about a cat pouch. That I would appreciate it, but I mean, now that you mentioned it, it might give me an excuse to show a video on how to make one of these, because I do like doing leather work, and sometimes I just need an excuse. And trust me, a lot of you guys have already given me excuses to make more holsters, whether it's the Lone Ranger or Ringo, or there's a ton of them out there. The Paladin holster was a suggestion after I did one other one. I can't remember which one it was I'd done, and someone said, "Hey, why don't you make the one from Half Gun Will Travel?" Yep, I got to do that. So I mean, there's a lot more of them. Doc Holliday, Ringo, Flames of Hell, tons of them I want to do. And I guess one of these days I'm just gonna have to sit down and do them. But like I said, there's a lot of other stuff to do. So much stuff to do. Looking at getting a 9mm version of the USA1 Tisas, the 1911. I'm assuming you're talking about. I did buy I like 45. I did buy a 9mm. Uh-oh. What happened here? Is everybody still there? I don't know what happened there. Everything froze up for a second there. I did buy a 9mm 1911, and I kind of thought maybe I shouldn't have, just because people will say, "Oh, you can't have a 9mm 1911; they got to be 45." But I really liked it. It was the Ronin. I have to find that one too, because I can't remember which one that was. That was a Springfield. It was a Springfield 9mm 1911, the Ronin, stainless alloy frame and carbon steel. Stainless frame, carbon steel slide on it. I think it was a stainless Melnite coated barrel or some kind of coated barrel. Great shooting gun. And a 9mm 1911 is really, they feel good together. The action cycled absolutely fine. It was a good, accurate shooting gun. And I say accurate shooting gun. The accuracy of the gun can only be determined if the gun is locked down in a vise and something, so it will not move. It's my accuracy. It's me being able to repeat it when I'm holding it by my hand. I'm moving around, heartbeat, breathing, the whole 9 yards. I've had people say, one of the videos I did was an older Smith & Wesson I did a few years ago. The guy that loaned it to me, he said, whatever you do, adjust the sights on it. He said, because it's terrible. If I shoot over here, I'm going to hit over there. And I thought, wow, that must be pretty bad off. And I'm looking at the sights on the top of the gun, and I thought, doesn't look that bad. Could it really be that bad? And I took it out there and I took up shots with it, and I'm like, no, that's not bad at all. So I'm not saying he was a bad shot. Maybe he was, maybe not. I'm not saying I'm a great shot either, but to determine if something is accurate, it needs to be locked down. But that 9mm, the Springfield Ronin, was really accurate. I don't even remember if I shot it in a rest, but I was able to get my shots right back close to the same spot without really any effort, and it pretty much hit right where I wanted to hit. Am I still on here? Okay, Cat 533 says still here. How do you make your holster belt display hooks? I did do a video on that, didn't I? And I've actually got a couple of them here. These are just, this is a 1/4 inch thick by, I think it was, is that 3 inches wide? No, 2.5. So it was I think it was a 3 inch wide board, but remember, those board sizes are nominal. A 2x4 is not 2 inches by 4 inches, but just 1/4 inch thick. And I cut out my back piece, my front piece, and then just a little sliver to go in between there, and drilled a couple holes in it and countersunk it so I could mount them on the wall there. And then some of these little brackets here are like jewelry box corners. I put those on there just to give it a little bling, make them look a little more finished. I do have a couple of them up there. Nope, this way. That are just plain wood. They do not have anything fancy on them, no metal work on them. And then the two that I've got up here on the Paladin holster, you'll see there's a little star engraved on that one, and it's hard to see that one there, but there's actually a little black powder revolver engraved on it. And I did do just a quick short 21-second video. It's actually a short of a desktop CNC I bought because I was doing a video on making grips, and I made the copy carve thing. So I thought, you know what? And the reason I made the copy carve thing is because I don't know enough about the CNC stuff to, I guess, get into making stuff with it. So I bought one of the cheap ones from Amazon. It's like the second cheapest one you can buy. I paid less than $200 for it. It's like $173 for this little CNC desktop CNC machine, which is the perfect size for making grips. So I chucked up one of these in it, and I thought, I'm going to go ahead and engrave me some kind of little design on there. So I did the little star on that one and the revolver on the one up there. And I think they come out okay. I really didn't have the right bits for it. I did order more bits because I want to do some more of those and make them, I guess, customize them a little bit more, make them look a little more professional, I guess. I don't know. But they work, and it holds the holster pretty secure. It's not coming down, and it is able to hold them out flat like that, which is the way I like them. Other than the one up top, the Paladin one still bugs me. I will probably redo that belt. Don't know that I'll make a video on it, but I will probably redo it just because I was not extremely happy. I wasn't even mildly happy with the way it came out. It fits fine, and you don't notice any of that curve when you're wearing it, just because when it wraps around the body, it's okay. So it's, I don't know. I didn't like it. You're absolutely welcome. Thank you. It's just something I thought I needed to do, I guess. I mean, I could have hung them vertically and probably got a lot more up there, but the problem with some of them is, like on the Hand of God rig here, it slides around, so it would probably end up, down at the bottom or on the countertop or something behind me there. The Buscadero rigs, those aren't going to slide anywhere. They're going to stay right there where you put them. Same thing with the Paladin rig. Now the Outlaw Josie Wales one here, they would slide. They slide pretty easy. Well, maybe not easy, but they will slide. The two holsters I got up the top there, I actually have just a little block of wood with a piece of 1.5-inch aluminum flat bar on it, which those holsters were made to fit an 1.5-inch belt, which is your standard modern belt size anyway. Some of these gun belts are, I think the Man with No Name rig there is 3-inch wide. The Paladin rig is 3 inches wide. This one I think is 2.5. I think that one's 2.5. That's probably 2.5 too. So gun belts are usually a lot wider than your standard belt that holds up your pants. But the two holsters up there I made for just a standard 1.5-inch wide belt. So I have a piece of aluminum flat bar mounted to this piece of wood to hold them up off the wall. And then I have each holster slid on it so they're held up there. And I might do a couple more of those because I have done single holsters that I didn't necessarily make a belt specifically for that holster. And I've still got holsters and belts and everything in drawers that and in totes that I really don't have room for yet. Maybe one of these days I'll get to it, but who knows? Let's see. How long have we been going on here? 1 hour and 15 minutes. Have I reviewed the EAA Bounty Hunter line of revolvers? I have not. Hey, there's quite a few videos on there, Speedy. If you want to check them all out, I would greatly appreciate it. But no, I have not done any of the EAA Bounty Hunters. I don't know that I've done any of the EAA. EAA, yeah, I did something that was the EAA. You know what? I think it was the Windicator, and I call it the Windicator. And a lot of people have harassed me about that because they said it should be pronounced Vindicator, because in Germany they pronounce the W as a V. So Volkswagen starts with a V and in the middle has a W in it. The Germans also pronounce the V sort of as an F. So it's Volkswagen when you say Volkswagen in Germany. When we say it in the United States, we say Volkswagen. So the Windicator that people are telling me should be pronounced Vindicator, and it does make sense, Vindicator. I pronounced it Windicator in the video, and I'm just going to stick with it because I've Americanized it, just like we Americanized the Volkswagen. I also seen a video one time, a long time ago. It was a lady that was from Germany and said how we mispronounce so many things here in the United States that come from Germany, like Adidas shoes are German made, and she said you guys pronounce it Adidas when it should be pronounced Adidas. But we Americanized it, just like we did the Volkswagen, and I Americanized the Windicator or Vindicator, whichever one you want to call it. It doesn't bother me. You can call it either one you want. I'm okay with it. I know what you're talking about when you say it. It's a lot of fun. The whole firearms thing, I'd been into firearms quite a while before ever doing the YouTube channel, and I just laying in bed one night. My very first video was just a little short that I had on my phone, and it was I'm laying in bed and I'm thinking I'm gonna set up my own YouTube channel. So I did it right there on my phone, and it said I needed to post a video on there to do it, which I don't think is the case nowadays. And since I had that video on there, I just went ahead and posted that. And then immediately the next day I started working on a video and learning the editing and stuff. It just took me forever to do it. So I wasted pretty much the whole day and didn't even get to go out and go shooting. So my second video was for naught. But I started doing them with actually, it was a little Vivitar action camera, kind of like a GoPro, a really cheap version of a GoPro. And my first few videos were like that, and I had a great big bushy beard and everything. And so don't go back and watch all those. Those are terrible. But hopefully I've progressed and have been making better videos for you guys to watch, better content and everything. Like I said, I enjoy doing it, and I hope to keep on doing it for a long time. I'm not getting rich off this, I guarantee you that, but it is a lot of fun, and like I said, it gives me the excuse to do these things. I probably never would have bought a bowler hat or a fancy vest had I not started doing the YouTube channel. It's just been extremely enjoyable, and it actually has gotten me to doing more projects around my house too. I don't think any of you guys have seen it, but I mean, some of you may have. If you know anything about my, you're on my Facebook channel. I posted a picture almost exactly a year ago. It's like a year and 2 days ago. It's me digging. I had my foot on a shovel, and I got kind of a scowl on my face. And I told my wife, I said, take this picture. I'm going to post it on Facebook. I'm going to say that my wife said there are two kind of people in this world, those with revolvers and those who dig. You dig. And I said, I'm not happy, but I was digging. And that was a really long process. It would take me forever to tell you the whole sequence of events that led up to it. But I had to do some home remodeling, and that was part of it. And I'm like 7 foot down in this hole digging so I could do a block wall and concrete and all this kind of stuff. But one thing led to another, and this is some of the result of it. The leather studio. I've only done, I think, one holster in here so far, and that was the Paladin holster. But I've got a lot more planned to do in here. It gives me a lot more room. I got a much bigger table here. I've got cabinets behind me where I've got a lot of my leather stuff stored, and all my dies and punches and everything over here. So doing the whole YouTube channel has really motivated me to do a lot of things, not just the gun videos and stuff, but a lot of home projects and everything too. And it's, like I said, it's been really cool. See if I can pull this picture up here. Like I said, I'm amateur at this, so I don't know exactly what I'm doing here, but I will give it a shot and see if I can show this picture. Maybe I can do this. Oh, it will not let me do that for some reason. Anyways, like I said, it's kind of a corny picture, but the jacket I'm wearing is similar to the one that Tuco wore in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And I'm on a shovel down there doing some digging. And that's one holster I'm really looking forward to make, is the holster that Tuco carried in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I want to do a video on that holster because I think I can do that one really quick, and I think I can make it look almost exactly like the one used in the movie. And I've got the correct firearm. That's another one I wanted to bring up about Cimarron. They make a gun they call the Tuco, and Tuco carried an 1851 Navy in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Another reason I like the 1851 Navy. And there are clear shots of it being an 1851 Navy in the movie, but the one that they sell as the Tuco has a round barrel on it, and the 1851 Navy has an octagon barrel on it. That it just can't be. It's wrong. And I talked to somebody about it, and he said maybe it's a copyright thing, and it could be. I don't know, but they make the man with no name gun, they call it, with the rattlesnake grip on it, and that's two other revolvers I got. It's an 1851 Navy with the rattlesnake grip on it, and it's also an 1873 single action Army with the rattlesnake grip on it. If you watch all three movies, Fistful of Dollars, For a Few Dollars More, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the progression of those movies is there's a lot of stuff that's mixed up in those movies. The first movie that came out was A Fistful of Dollars, and he carried an 1873 in there. For a Few Dollars More, he carried an 1873 again. But when we get to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, he's carrying an 1851 Navy. Why would he go backwards like that? But the movie is set earlier. He wears the poncho in the first two movies, but he doesn't get the poncho until the third movie. So there's a lot of things out of time, and I'm okay with it. I liked all three of the movies, and I've watched those several times. Some of them are a little slow, at least in the first two movies, but they're all pretty good movies. It's just those little things like that. If you ignore those things, they're great movies. But when I see those and I think, why did he carry the newer gun in the older movies and the older gun in the newer movies? And the timeline is all messed up, and I don't care. there's still a good story. So it's fun. Oh, looky here. We got Santee from the Arizona Ghost Riders. Nice derby. You know what? It's all your fault, Santee. Everything is all these holsters I made, it's all your fault. I blame it all on you. Well, not all of them. Some of them were suggestions from other people too. Good to have you on the show. I think you're joining a little bit late though. I've already been on for an hour and 25 minutes. I'll probably only go about another 5 minutes or so. Third movie is a prequel. That makes a whole lot more sense there. They didn't even use that word back then, did they? It's not like Star Wars and then, you know how those were all messed up. Those are all prequels, but that makes a whole lot more sense. It's just when you watch them, though, it's just like, yeah, because Angel Eyes dies in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, but he is alive in For a Few Dollars More. So that really, I didn't know that could be a prequel because they shoot him in the cemetery at the final shootout at the end of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So, probably the gun Tuco built from parts. Maybe, but I mean, it was still in 1851. I mean, the barrel and he never took the barrel off of the frame part. In fact, 1851 Navy, that's all kind of made together because there's no top strap on it. It's just the loading arm and everything underneath it. So he couldn't have swapped that out, but that was a really cool scene. And if you ever get on the Internet Movie Firearms database, look that up, and you can look up firearms by movie. And that's another reason I like doing the movie holsters and stuff too, because that information is out there and they take screenshots from the movie and stuff. But if you look up The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly on the Internet Movie Firearms database, they show all these guns. Every gun that Tuco picks up, they'll explain this is what it is. And I don't know. I mean, I guess it's kind of like Wikipedia that people edit it or whatever. I don't know, but I don't know that they got all of them correct. But there sure is a lot of information in there because they explain every gun that he picks up, what it is. It's a Hopkins and Allen, or it's a Ethan Allen, whatever. And it's some really cool firearms that he picks up there, especially the one, I can't remember what it is, but where he does the thing and it kind of opens up the cylinder and everything. It was an actual firearm back in the day. Just a cool gun. He picks up a pepper box, and he sniffs, does that kind of like it smells. Just a lot of guns, and they explain all of them on there. So if you can look up either a movie and it'll tell you the guns that were used in it, or you can look up a gun and it'll tell you the movies it was used in. Oh yes, Cimarron sent me the 1875 Remington Outlaw. That's what it is. So yeah, I had to remember that. Yeah, I got to do that gun too. There's so many more that I got to do, and it's the cowboy guns that are really waiting on me anyways. Oh, let me see. Oh, I missed a few comments here. Wait, let me hide that one and go back a little bit farther. Third movie is a prequel, and Santee said he isn't Angel Eyes in a few dollars. Well, he's the same guy. Who is he in the what's he called, the Colonel or something like that in For a Few Dollars More, doesn't he? I mean, maybe he's not the actual same character, but he sure looks the part of the same character. Two different characters, same actor. That's what I was trying to say. With same actor. And there you said it. Colonel Mortimer in A Few Dollars More. Well, wasn't he a colonel? No. Colonel what? In the Civil War? Huh? Keep explaining. Oh, cool. Still alive. Oh, still alive. Yes. Sometimes when you misread things, it can be a little humorous. Still, the fact the Italian filmmakers came up with all those firearms with the movies. You know what? When those movies were made, I think that Uberti and Pieta at that time were actually manufacturing reproductions, and they might have been sold under Army San Marco, I think it is, or several different brands. But I really don't have much of a doubt that the firearms that maybe not Clint Eastwood's firearm, maybe it was, I don't know. But I have no doubts that they were not Ubertis or Piettas or something. The movie was made in Italy. They are Italian-made guns. They've been making them for quite some time. Maybe not quite that long. I'm not sure. So when I take out the Tuco, I can almost claim that it is authentic. It might not be an authentic Colt, but it could be authentic to what was used in the movie. And I think that's pretty cool. Let me see. They also show Eastwood getting the poncho he wears in the first two movies in the third movie. Yes, see, that's why it made me think, yeah, maybe it is a prequel. I don't know. They got better and they went backwards and told the story. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, but that's where he gets the ponchos in the third movie. Saw some TM branded ammo in a local gun shop yesterday. TM. Where's TM? You have to explain that one to me. I'm not sure. I don't recognize that brand name. Thank you. I'm glad you caught me too. I got this. I've been rambling on for an hour and a half now, and it's a lot of fun. I can ramble. Trust me. I can talk. I've been a welder for 30 years. I can talk, and I can take a file and flip it up and catch it and all that kind of important stuff. Lots of fun. Yeah, regardless of whether it was a prequel or not, all three of the movies I did enjoy. And I want to do videos on those. Now, my man with no name holster here is not entirely correct. The gunfighter stitching pattern that's on there is not right. It's a little too wide. And I have seen pictures of it, not only in this space, but also underneath the bullet loops. I'll have to look at some more screenshots because I cannot recall if it was actually like that in the movie. But it's close. It's close enough, I guess. For what I do, yeah, it'll work. Garage guy, not TCM ammo, TM22. It's all new 20. Oh. Okay, I got you. Oh, it fires. It's a rifle, a new 22 rifle. We do have a rifle that fires the TCM22. Let's see, not TCM, TM22. It's a new 22 rifle. I got you. But you have the Rock Island rifle that fires the TCM22, I'm assuming, which is a 9mm that is chambered down to 22. A really odd looking round. Not impressed with the rifle, huh? Interesting. Talking about the TM22 rifle, and I do not know what that is. Maybe I can look it up here real quick. It's more of a tactical. I got you. Rock Island. I wonder where that is made because it looks. I only got one little tiny picture up there. Show me some more. It looks fairly similar to. I don't know what it looks similar to. I don't know if any of you guys, I don't know. That looks like all new. It doesn't look similar to anything. I did a video on, I can't even remember the brands now. It was two different rifles. I did one and someone said, hey, can you do a video on this brand of rifle? And they were both 22s or maybe they were both 17s. I think one was a Mossberg and the other was a Rossi. And as I was taking it apart and cleaning it, I got the other one out and I got that one out and I thought, it's the exact same rifle. It's just a different stock on it. The markings on the barrel, the manufacturing company, everything was the same. And I thought, well, I just bought two of the same thing. The stocks were different. That was the biggest thing about them. And I didn't mind doing that because neither one of them were extremely expensive. They were both, I believe, sub $200 guns. And I was cool with it. And I just got another 22 to add to the collection, which 22s are the most fun because they're the least expensive. They're the least disturbing to your neighbors. They're just a lot of fun. When it's inexpensive firearm, it's inexpensive ammo, and it's fun. That's the perfect combination right there. That's the trifecta. What's the advantage to have the rough side out on the leather? Is there an advantage? Probably not. It's probably more of a disadvantage because then your smooth side is going to be up against your clothes. And since these gun belts are not laced through your belt loops, it's probably a disadvantage, but that's the look they went for. And I've got the rough side out on that one, the rough side out on the belt too. It's just the way they made it. So I tried to make it the same as the movie holster. Boomstick, okay, not familiar with that model. The TM22, it's the Rock Island. I'm not real familiar with it either, but it's a semi-auto AR style firearm. Rock Island TM22 made in Turkey. You know, the Winchester Wildcat is also made in Turkey. I think the SAR was made in Turkey. There's a lot of firearms that are made in Turkey. It kind of bugs me with the Winchester thing, and it bugged a lot of people too, that the Winchester was made overseas. I think some of the Winchesters were also made in Japan. I wish every firearm was made here in the United States, but you know how it is. It's a whole political thing, and I don't care to get into any of that on here. Let's see. Are you going to get an HRR tactical? HRR? No. You know what? Maybe, but the only way I would get that, I think, is if I could get a hold of the Mossberg made a lever action several years ago. They called the SPX 454, I think it is. Is a tactical lever action. It has an adjustable buttstock on it. It's the same AR buttstock you can put on there. The Picatinny rails on the front grip, the stock, four end. And when I saw that, and I've seen it in a few stores years ago, and I thought, nah, I can't do that. But the more I got to thinking about it, and this was about the time you would see zombie everything in stores. You could buy zombie ammo, you could buy zombie hatchet and knives and all this kind of stuff. And it was all, usually noted by the green on it, the toxic green sludge, whatever. And I thought I would not get one of those. And then after a while, I thought, you know what? It's lever action. It's kind of cool. I guess it could almost be steampunk cowboy type thing. But now, excuse me, now they're harder to find. So you got to find them on one of those gun brokering sites, or you pretty much got to find them used. I don't think there's any more new ones in stock anywhere, but it's the Mossberg SPX 454. If you get a chance, look one of those up. Not authentic cowboy stuff, but kind of that style, I guess. They're cool. Now, if I was to get one of those, I would probably go ahead and get the Tactical Cowboy, just because you got to have a revolver and the long gun. They got to go together. And those, I think, would match up pretty good. When he thinks of turkey, he gets hungry. I'm kind of hungry right now. Anyways, let's see what else we got here. There's also the new Savage Model 64 Precision. I have seen that. And you know what? That one kind of stings a little bit, because for a Model 64 is a really inexpensive rifle, and I'm pretty sure I did a video on one of those. The Precision is not so inexpensive. Same action, everything, different stock. Yes, I understand there's a lot more work that goes into that stock and everything, but can I justify spending that much more money on that stock? I don't know, but I mean, some people will, and some people obviously have, and I would love to review one, but I don't know that I want to buy one to do a review on. Let's see. Boomstick 779, correct me if I'm wrong. Don't you do reviews as well? He does. He does. And he said right there, sure did. Now you guys are making me even hungrier. Let's see. Do you have a video on the Savage 64P yet? Was the P? Let me see. Let's see. I did the 62, and Several people have asked me what the difference is in the 62 and the 64, and I think it was, I cannot remember exactly what it was, but something about either where it was made or when it was made or who made it. I can't remember. So I did the 62. The 64 is pretty much the same gun. No, I have not done the 64P. Only the 62F is the only one I've done. Us gun guys kind of stick together sometimes, you know. Cyber Iron slingshot ammo pouch works for cylinders or can be work for caps too. I'm pretty sure they can be modified for other things too. I'm pretty sure they can. I have not looked one up, but now that this comment's on there, I will. I have a few up of it. Of the 62 or 64P, I will have to check them out. Oh, the 64 Precision. Duh. Full barrel 20 round magazine. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little slow sometimes, you know. P was short for precision. I thought maybe there was some other one that I didn't know about. Oh, I'll see some familiar names in here. I see a lot of familiar names because, like I said, I read every comment that you guys write on my channel and reply to most of them. And you know what? There's a lot of comments on there. I don't know how many exactly. I was running a spreadsheet on it at one time. And I just couldn't keep up with it anymore. All right. Oh. Well, guys, let me see. It's been an hour and 41 minutes so far. I think I see some people are dropping off here, and I think I'm going to be one of those people. I have barely even touched my whiskey, but I might finish it off and go get ready for bed. I've got videos to do this weekend, and I've got the last couple weekends I've been playing plumber and electrician, and it's all part of this whole leather studio thing. And I've got a whole other half of this room that's behind the camera here where all the lights are and everything that I have not even touched yet, but it will be getting a major overhaul, workover, remodel. It's just going to take me a few months to do it because I only work on it a little bit at a time, and trying to do videos and a regular job and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty taxing. Anyways, I thank every one of you for watching, and I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that subscribed and those who aren't subscribed too, because all your views count and help me motivate me to do more content, and I really enjoy it. Anyways, thanks. Garage Guy, you know what? I might do a little more often, and next time I might actually have a topic when I do it, because like the only 2 live streams I've done, it's just been off the cuff, and give me an excuse to wear another costume, huh? All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Gotta get the